Hi, and welcome to Double Take from Our Kitchen. I'm Rick.
I'm Lori.
And we're going to share with you our passion for cooking.
I'm going to share some family Italian recipes that I grew up with and a few new ones as well.
And I'm going to share with you some smoking techniques and instruct you on how to use Dutch ovens to cook wonderful main courses and dessert.
So we are happy to have you here with us. We're going to do these over the summer, and we hope you enjoy them.
Hope you enjoy them. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about doing some Dutch oven cooking. We're going to cook this roast in these ovens. And so the first thing I'm going to do is bring charcoal over and start getting these ovens hot. Now the thing about these briquettes is I use Kingsford because they hold the temperature a lot longer than other briquettes. Now there's some lump coal that you can get that works really well, but I just use these because they're easier to use. I want this to cook at about 350 degrees, so I will put 16 charcoals on the bottom and then 18 on the top. But right now we're just going to let that get hot so that I can sear this roast. Dutch ovens are cast iron. They've been around since America was formed, and the oven we're going to use is a 12-inch. If I can keep from making a mess, it's a 12-inch. The number right here is the number, the size of the oven from here to here is 12 inches. This is a deep oven. We're going to use a more shallow oven, which is also at 12. It was Paul Revere who put this lip on here so you could put hot coals on top of it. Used to, they just would hang them on hooks in the fireplace to cook from. All right, now I'm going to go and take this lid off. This is called a trivet. You never want to put your lid on the cold ground or on the cement because it'll warp it. You always want to set it on a trivet. So we're going to start off by putting a little olive oil in the bottom of this oven. And we'll let that get good and hot. So we're going to sear it, and then we'll season it. How big do you think it is? It's about a 3-pound, okay. So I'm going to set this in here. Hear that? It's going to sear. I'm going to place the charcoal briquettes on the top of this lid and let it be getting hot. Just like any oven, you have to let it warm up. Now these charcoals will stay cooked for about an hour, and then I'll have to replace them. They're good for about an hour. Now I'm going to turn this over, sear the other side. Let that get good and brown. So we sear this and it starts the browning process. I'm going to check my recipe. Okay, salt and pepper both sides of this. And we'll turn that over. Salt and pepper this side. We start adding ingredients. Calls for 2 cups of warm water. 1 cup of red wine. Hope none of it falls into the cook accidentally. Or the camera operator. That looks like about a half a cup or a cup, doesn't it? Garlic doesn't have to be finely chopped, but it needs to be chopped. And then onions. And then mushrooms. And then we're going to put some potatoes in there. And I'm going to cover this so it'll heat up. Now the Dutch ovens are designed to cook from the top down. You don't want too much heat on the bottom or you'll burn the bottom of the pan. So most of the heat is on the top. So I have, and I think it's a 2/3 rule, 1/3 and 2/3 on the top. So if you have, let's say you had 18 coals on the top, you'd want 9 on the bottom. Now I'll cut up these potatoes really quick. I'm just going to quarter them. Oh, this one's a little bigger, so all right, we'll put the potatoes in there. Now, another thing that's really important are these. These are just, Lodge sells these, but they're just welder's gloves, and they really can protect your hands because I've burned myself a lot of times. Whenever you take the lid off, or if you're checking something, when you put it back on, give it a 1/4 turn, and that keeps you from getting hot spots in the oven. So we're going to cut up some carrots. I like lots of carrots with my roast. I, for the life of me, don't know how. My son is a chef, and he cuts things so fast. I just don't know how they do it so fast. I guess it's just repetition. All right, now we put the carrots in. It's starting to boil in here. It looks good. I'm going to put a little bit more wine in there because I don't have any water to put in there. So. All right, it's been about an hour, and we're ready to add new charcoal to this, and it smells really good. The thing I want you to see is this, how this is ashed up. And ash is not your friend. Ash will cause you to lose temperature. So we have to get the ash out of there before we put the new briquettes in. So I'm going to remove these, because these still can produce some heat. Removing ash can be a bit tricky because it's really hot. The oven is really hot. So you just have to be very careful. All of us who've done this very many times has had a burn or 50. Okay, all that ash needs to come out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in this pan and then let it cool and then dispose of it. So you pick your lid up and you bring it over here. And get all the ash off. What I did was turn the lid like this and just dump it into that pan. Now then, I'm going to move this oven and get rid of this ash. This is not as critical as the ash on the top, because eventually you'll want this to be cooler than the fire on the top. But we are going to move it. Yep. I'm moving all this ash over here. Now we'll spread these out. Move this over. This is very interesting. Each one of these briquettes, as they get hot, will produce about 23 degrees. And it'll do that for a good hour. So you can calculate how much heat you want just by the number of coals that you put on top and bottom of this oven. There we go. Let's look at it and see how it looks. And there's boiling. Look at that. I may want to take some of that heat off the bottom. Because that is really boiling. You can adjust your heat anytime you want to, because just by moving coals out from underneath it. And just remember that it will burn if you get too many coals off the bottom, on the bottom. Three times to clean them. All right, we'll let that cook another hour. We should be good to go. See you then. All right, we're done. Now we're going to finish cooking this with making the sort of gravy that goes with it. So we pull the lid off and we add a little water and wine, about 2 cups. And then we make a slurry. Slurry is it's cornstarch and water. And this will thicken up the gravy. That's what that looks like. And then we add it. And then stir it. And we'll let that simmer for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to plate. You notice that I pulled all the charcoal off the top. I have about 4 or 5 underneath it, so that will keep the water, the roast hot and keep it simmering. So I had to pull off a lot of heat because it got done sooner than I thought it would, but that's good. I've been doing this about 30 years. I've been cooking. It's really funny. Both of my boys were in Scouts, and we did a winter trek every year. It's called Canic up in New Mexico, and we also did some winter treks in the Wichita Wildlife Refuge. But the warmest place in the winter was the cook tent. So I learned how to become an assistant and then learned how to cook by being in that cook tent, keeping warm in the winter. And I just fell in love with it. And so we went through some training programs, and I demoed and taught Dutch oven cooking during those years. And then I started a ministry at my former church, and we had a father-son camp out in the spring and a father-daughter camp out in the fall. And I would do all the cooking for that, and I just love it. I love being able to do this, and I love being able to produce meals from this. So we'll see here in a few minutes what it looks like when it's plated. It's done, and I'm gonna put it on the tray, and you'll get to see what it looks like when it's finished. We'll set this on here. And I don't think you can see this. I don't know. Here's the roast. And then we'll spoon the vegetables out and arrange them. It's got a nice thick gravy, which I love. Yeah, we'll put it in a bowl. This is just an amazing cooking process. Thank you guys for watching. I've just really enjoyed doing this and sharing this with you.